Hey everybody, it's Miriam here at Paperwheelz Studio. Back today. I have several journals that I have been working on off camera, and I wanted to bring those back today and show you what I've been working on. And I need to do some things to the front of them and add some kind of closure if I decide to do closures. Unfortunately, I didn't plan in advance, so I covered the backs of some of these, but I'm going to show you what we could do that will work with that, and it won't make much difference. So we're going to start with the one that I have here. This is a writing journal that I put together. I've got a pocket in the front, and all I did is make it out of a few digitals. This is a manila file folder that had the markings there, and I used 2 of them for sewing my signatures into, so they would be even in here. And then this other one is where the book folds. I kind of made it a rolling spine, so to speak, because I put that piece of material there to cover up both my strings and to give it a little bit more stability at the spine. And then I put 2 signatures in it. Very neutral, mostly writing pages. They've come from various sources. I didn't even use the actual coffee dyed paper in this because this is for not decorating, just purely a writing journal for me. So these beautiful lace journals were a freebie from Scrapbooking with Me. They had that listed, and 1 or 2 of them kind of, this one came out with a little bit of purple on it only. I don't even know if you could see it, only because I was at the end of an ink cartridge when I printed some of these. I don't mind that. If it bothers me too much, I'll bring in my vintage photo and ink it up a bit. So really all I need to do with this one is I wanted to put a little bit of decoration on the front and come up with some kind of a closure. So I have several options for closures laying here on my desk, and I thought we could just talk about a few, and I could show you how a few of them work and go from there. You can use almost anything to close your journal: ribbon, lace, string, macrame cord. It doesn't even have to be made out of that. It can be made out of leather, buckles, just all kinds of. If you think about it, give it a shot, try it, see how it turns out, because you never know, it just might work for you. So I started a little, I said I was going to do that one first, but I'm going to switch on that because I started this little closure that I thought would go very well on this little journal that we made a few videos back. It's already got all my cards in it here and all of my pages. It's not very thick. It's only made out of what, 1, 2, I thought I had 5 here, and so I'm believing, nope, that's not stuck together in any way. I thought maybe I had something sticking together here. I still swear that I have 2 pages here, but I guess I'm wrong. Anyway, that one's quite thick, so it's just a little flip through journal here. Yeah, that's only 1. I'm still not convinced that that isn't, but I believe it is. Yes, it's just a lot of thickness there with a pocket I put down, and then there's a little tag here and a journal card here. I haven't put anything on the tops of any of my tags. I just kind of mainly made ones to fit these various pockets, kept it simple, and that's basically what we got. I did it on video. Okay. Anyway, so I have this one. I glued this down with fabric glue, oh gosh, over a week ago. But I thought with that pearl and that, I thought that would just be very, very pretty to just attach this on the back and bring it around and fasten it there with a magnet or Velcro. I think I'm going to use Velcro because it's not as noticeable, since I did not think in advance. The magnet could have gone under the paper However, I'm not good at thinking those things out. So when you're creating journals, keep in mind, if you want a closure, you want to make plans for your closure prior to covering the front and back of your journal, in case you want magnets or something like that that need to be covered up by your papers. And I think with this one, as I said, I'm going to use Velcro. I have some different kind of Velcro, and then I have the little Velcro dots, which are really cool. I think with this, I'm just going to use a Velcro dot. So I'm going to pull those out. I have a drawer up here on my desk where I keep them. And I just get my Velcro dots. Either I've ordered some from Temu, and some of them come from Amazon. So these Velcro dots anymore are very easy to find. The one thing I want to caution you on, if you use them, use glue with them as well, because if not, eventually, if you're doing a lot of this business, you might just pull it right up. So we need to attach this on the back here. I think what I want to do is make it appear as if it starts right here at the spine, and then bring it around so that there's enough to come over and close here. Yeah, and I'm going to take my scissors, and since I got this glued down now, I'm just going to round the end of this right with the jewel that I have here, which I think will give it a really cool look. And I drenched this in the fabric glue before I glued this down. Some things, when you're gluing them, if you're afraid your glue's not going to hold, with jewelry and things, you can always use the E6000 glue, and that will hold it in place perfectly for you. So that's going to come around like this. Yup. And then this is going to be, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and put down, just a big enough piece here. I'm going to go ahead and put down my Velcro dots on this, and then I'll figure out how much to go around the back here. If I'd have been thinking clearly, I would have put it down under this so it looked like it was coming out from under. I don't, well, wait a minute, maybe I can. Look at that, you guys. Obviously, the glue I used to put that down wasn't a good glue. We'll fix it. So now that we have that, we can glue this down under that and finish our closure off. So let's measure what we need here so we know where to cut our ribbon. I want that to have enough to come on top of that, and I want to bring it around so that it appears, you know, I think I just have enough, y'all, so I'm going to just simply put down enough of this to hold it. There's no up or down, right or wrong kind of way to do that. I just don't want to do too much because I don't, you know, I don't want to run out wrapping it around. So this is the fabric glue here. Make sure it didn't clog off on me. I pulled my pen out of it for some reason. Okay, I think I got it. Oh yeah, there it comes. Yeah, if you have a hard time squeezing bottles, the Sugar Bell bottles work. But I found even with some of those, if you have a needle point on your bottle, it's a lot harder to squeeze. It's very nice to get a needle point of glue out. But for me, these tips on these bottles that I just picked up from Amazon, I don't even know if they're glue bottles, craft bottles, icing bottles. I have no clue what they are. But they work very well. And you can put a straight pin in the top, and that usually keeps them from clogging. All right, let me straighten out my piece of ribbon. So, hope everybody's having a wonderful, not so hot kind of day, wherever you happen to be today. We've had some very pleasant couple days. It's, you know, we had a lot of rain and thunderstorms on the weekend, but it seems like it's gotten rid of our humidity. And this will take a while to dry. So what I'm going to do is put our piece of paper on top and see if it holds it well enough that we can come back and go ahead and glue down the Velcro closure as well. So let's get our piece back up here, and we want to saturate it, well, you know, not horribly. We want to still be able to hold there and grip it, but we want to put enough glue on this that it will hold that piece there in the middle. So I'm going to make sure I get a little extra right in here and go back on this just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to use the two-hand technique to get some glue on here, and then I can spread it out. I did have a glue spreader on my desk. I mean, probably has gotten buried, but it could easily be unburied. But if you get with any of the Fabrics, you can either spread it with your fingers or a glue spreader, any kind of your fabric glue. They even make white fabric glues, so whatever your glue of choice is, I would use a stronger glue than I did, because I think I just used random glue stick on this when I put it together. And had I not tried to peel that up, it probably wouldn't have been as easy to come up, but did you see what I did? Oh no, I put it in the right place. Okay, cool. Yeah, it goes like this, because I wanted to lace on the edge. All right, so we get that down there again, and it's holding our piece of ribbon there as well this time. That worked out really good. Very happy it peeled right up for me. Then we're going to bring this piece around, and I'm going to hopefully create a closure. Okay, it's gonna fit, but it's a tight squeeze here, but it's okay. I'm good with that. I am good with that. I just want to keep that in mind when I put my Velcro on this, so that it has enough enough on it to stick. Does that make sense? I hope. All right, so I'm going to take these off together. They're sticky on both sides. Then we'll glue it down, and we'll start on my next journal book. Don't know how many of these closures I'm going to get in today. However, we shall see. Yeah, see, you can hardly see that laying there. You can hardly tell that it's even stuck there. I gotta make sure I got the right sides out, the sticky sides, and this side is going to go down on my journal, and the cloth side is going to go on my ribbon for my closure. Okay, so put a good size dollop of glue here to put this on top here, and I'm going to go as close to the edge as I can, knowing I don't have a lot of room to spare here. But since I took time and made it, I would like to, you know, be able to use it here. All right, so we're going to put glue on this and bring it over so that when I put it down, it will match. Make sure my ribbon's fairly straight across here. It's not centered, so that's fine. And I'm going to pull it a little tight because I want that to stick to the folio piece. So it's going to the side to dry. That one is all done. Then I have this one, which is the writing journal I've already showed you. And I believe on this one, I want something very, very simple. Very simple. So I do have a piece of brown ribbon, which I think the brown ribbon would be beautiful on this. I also have a piece of this, I believe it's maybe seam binding. It came with Tim Holtz stuff. So I think I'm going to use it, actually. I do like it. And I also have a little crocheted flower that I crocheted here that I thought might be able to be worked into this closure. So I've got that. I'm going to grunge it a little bit so it'll kind of blend in. And I have a few decorative pieces in my little box here that I thought might work well to decorate this up. I got one that says happiness, which I think is just super cool looking. And I have a flower and a butterfly that I thought. These are from Stamperia's Old Lace. And I thought these would look super cool somehow on the front of this journal. So, let's see what we can do here. I kind of like that. And then just a regular closure like. Okay, happiness is one down here. So I know that. So let's get my glue gun that's gluing everything together. Okay, so we're going to put the happiness down here. I don't know if the butterfly is going to go there. He kind of gets lost. So I might put him up in the corner up here. Okay. There we go. This is so much easier than using glue when I'm recording videos and making things and that. The glue from your glue gun will hold, these are like chipboard pieces of ephemera, so the glue from the glue gun will really hold that down. I've not found any way to get rid of these little strings, so if somebody has any ideas how to reduce strings from your glue gun, I'd be more than happy to hear them. I like that up there. Yeah, it's going up there. And then the center will be, and since this is a writing journal, I think that will work out best for me. I just got glue inside this other journal. So if you guys like watching entertaining messy crafters, please subscribe to my channel. I mean, people who like end up gluing their glue pen to their glass table. Yeah. So if you're that kind of a crafter, please subscribe and you'll see all the wonderful goofy things that I do on my videos. I'd like to welcome new subscribers. We're getting up there. We're over 230 now. So if you're watching and not yet subscribed, please help. We're going to have a $25 gift card giveaway coming up if I get to 1,000 before my birthday on October 1st. That's my goal. Let's see what we can do. And, you know, like, share, subscribe. If you have any recommendations for things you'd like to see or anything that, I mean, maybe you have a suggestion for an improvement. I'm open to any kinds of suggestions and things. You know, I do things a little differently than most because I have weakened muscles in my arms and legs. More so in my legs, so I am in a wheelchair. But I don't have a lot of strength in my arms either. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to take this little flower and I'm going to get my Gathered Twigs ink just because I want to, this is kind of a bright apricot. I want to dull it down so it'll match the peachy pink flowers in this, with this journal kit here. Like I said, it's a variety of all kits, but I do like how it's turning out with the old lace business. And these pieces are from, like I said, Stamperia's Old Lace collection. The chipboard pieces I'm using. The actual digitals, say that one again really fast, Miriam. The actual digitals are from Scrapbooking with Me, freebies. If you go to her scrapbookingwithme.com, you will find a link to their freebies. And I should have inked around the pieces I put down, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it because I didn't ink a lot around my digital pieces either. Okay, let's see what happens if we just kind of do these edges just to bring a little brown into the picture. See what we get here. I kind of like it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to try to grunge it up here. Probably end up with ink all over my fingers in the process. However, that's just fine. I want to use it, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. I took down some of the dullness. I'm not so fond of how dark some of it got, but maybe if we cover that up with ribbon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scissors and poke this through my ribbon. Poke my ribbon, I mean through the hole in the crochet flower. Yeah, get it right, Miriam. Okay. Let's pull this on through. I'm going to kind of make it look like a buckle, I think. Like that one. Remember the little, oh, there it is, the little blue checked material buckle. I just thought this might look really cool if we put it on here like a buckle. Yeah. Let's do that. And then it can be our tie enclosure. All right. You could also use some kind of a brad closure if you wanted. I have some different ones here. I can show you some different options. You could use buttons with your closure. Yeah, I do like that. So do I want to put that as the holder for my ribbon and put it on here? Or put it on the, I kind of like it on the spine. It would go there. I also have pulled this flower out that I didn't know. I don't really want to cover up my pink flowers. I don't think I'm going to use it unless I do something like this. No. Do I like that on the spine? Yes, I do. I'm going to make sure I have enough to tie with this. I'm going to move it to the center of my twill ribbon. I don't know what you call this stuff, you guys. Maybe somebody else knows. It comes with the little Tim Holtz folio pieces. I got some of those and made some journals out of them, but I did not use this ribbon that came with them. So we want to try to put this mainly in the center so that we can, oops, well, what do you know? That is almost in the center exactly. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a lot of glue on it, and then I'm going to stick it down to my spine, and I'm using again my glue pen to get my glue on here. And I don't want it to go over onto my other journal under, but I'm kind of working on a pile here, folks. But that's okay. You saw how big my desk is. I don't have a lot of room on it. Okay, the light's on, the glue gun's on, so let's really get it down here. And we might have to press it on with not our, come on, there we go. I don't know that I let it charge enough, honestly. So, all right. Oh, a little bit more. All right. I think that will be enough glue. So I'm going to lay that there on the glass mat because it's going to drip some more. Try to catch that drip. Okay. Right on the edge, but that's okay. We want this to go down. Ooh, don't stick it to your fingers, Miriam. All right. And since I've already touched it down to the journal, that's where it's going. So I'm going to pick these strings off here where I accidentally got some on my ribbon. See if I can get this excess glue off my ribbon. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to press down on my crochet flower. Press that down good so it can't, and now that's holding my ribbon so I don't have to worry about losing my closure. It's attached to my journal, and I can bring my two ribbon around and tie them in a pretty bow. If I get the glue off my fingers so I can tie a bow. Gracious. Glue everywhere, stuck to my nails, my fingers. Told you I'm a messy crafter. It's been a while since I've been in my craft room, so that's... I think if you get away from it from a little bit, you just got to get yourself back into the hang of whatever you're doing, and it will be just fine. It's only been a week since I recorded a video, but you can easily talk yourself out of recording videos or out of crafting, or if it's been very long. See how we're doing on time. Okay, we got enough to finish my blue and yellow book. Alrighty, so we're just gonna tie this and it will be done. I'm not a very good bow maker. Let's do this one and then we'll make a loop with it because it's a shorter one. If you have two pieces of something you're tying a bow with, use your shorter one to make the loop and then use your longer piece to wrap around and pull your bow through. Just a little trick that might work for you, depending on, especially if you are limited in the amount that you have there. If you're not limited, you can cut it and make it however long on both sides you want. So there we go. We've got that closure there, and I like that. It's going to be a writing journal. It's not going to come off there very easily, and if it does, I can put more glue back on there and stick it right down. I could even put a little bit of glue here and on the back too, but I'm not going to take time and do that on camera. So I'm going to lay this off to the side. I got me some new shelving like pieces that I'm using here to store things on my desk. I just don't have them all organized and set up yet. Alright, so now I have this book and I'm very excited about how I put this together. So I want to share this with you because it's just too amazing. This is my front. What I did is gutted the book completely, and this is a no-sew binding, so I glued my pages together. This is one piece, this is one piece, they're all glued together like this. So this is a piece, turn the page, there's a piece. So I don't recall exactly where all these digitals came from. However, that must have gotten wet, and that's how that ink is there. Oh, but anyway, yeah, you can see the ink kind of bled through a little bit there, but it doesn't matter. I've got the whole rest of the year fixed in this planner. These digitals came from Betty's Custom Designs, I believe, on YouTube. And that's where I got my calendar pages. These others these floral ones came from another planner kit, and I just liked the way the weekly planner was on those, and I liked the florals, and so I've used a combination in here, and every page that you turn, I glued this to this this page to this page, and then once I had my stack, I brought them to my spine and tried gluing this down and gluing it into the spine. Well, my glue, apparently, I just put my acetate in my fabric glue, so it made my paper a little wet, and I had to reinforce it with the brown paper. I'm fine with that. I don't care. And then this is the back, how the back turned out. And I have an entire planner with nice thick pages, some ideas, notes, project, places, and this will be my go-to book for the rest of the year. Now I need to do something to the front of it. So I looked at this in advance and found this piece that I think, I know it's blue and yellow, but it's going to be pretty awesome on here. I'm going to do something to the spine because I was reading this book at one point and I just decided that's perfect. I don't have to cut my pages down. I'm just going to gut it and use it. And I thought this would look really cool. The browns kind of brings some vintage brown into it. I also have some little extra bits here to glue down with it. And I didn't glue it down yet because I haven't quite decided what kind of closure I'm going to use on this. I like my brown ribbon, so I think what I'm going to do is simply, you could also, if you wanted to do a ribbon closure, you can use these pieces, clip on to your book like this, tighten them down, and then your ribbon can tie here and tie one on the back. So that's one way to do a closure if you forgot and did not, glue things down. I really like these on my planners. I think that's what I'm going to use once I get this down and I have a few other pieces. The other option with this would be a brad. So I'm going to lay these gold pieces out here so you can see. I also have some large buttons with shank backs that are not very big that you could sew it down onto the piece of paper and then you could wrap a ribbon around it and it would have that look with your closure wrapping around this. I also have some brads that are larger. Like here's one. That could be an option. I don't like the way that one particularly looks with it, but I do have this piece that actually would glue down and then a string could wrap around it. I do think I like the, now I can't decide. Why do I do this to myself, you guys? Why on earth do I pick out all these options and then I can't make up a decision? I do want to put, maybe this button would even look cool on here. I do want to put these two pieces and I thought I could put one there. And these are from the pages and the top are from the Coffee Chocolate Stamperia. Yeah, I like that. And I like that centered there. Like that. And then do we want to put a button here? I think we do. I wasn't going to. I was going to do something else, but I think that's what I want. Yeah. I do. And I think I'm going to, I don't know, this is another option here, folks. I got a couple other shanky-like buttons here that might look really neat. And I have this thing that goes behind brads. So I can put a brad on here and use it. I like a button better, don't you? And if I do put the button on, the only thing is I would need to sew it there. But I can deal with that too because I have some of this white and brown string that I could use to put my button down and then wrap around the journal, which would be really cool looking. So let's see if I have a needle here that I could sew my button quickly with on here and use it. I have a threaded needle, but it's attached to something else. I think I'm just going to cut it off of what it's attached to and go ahead and use this thread to take care of it. Here we go. It doesn't take much to attach these to a piece of paper. All right. Let's cut this piece of thread and see if I can make it work. And if I can't, I'll come up with something else. The other option is gluing the button to the top of a regular brad, which I could do. Not sure why I ended up with this tangly thing in my drawer. Oh, there's more thread though. I could always use more thread to sew my button on, huh? There we go. My scissors don't want to cut my thread. These are not fabric scissors of any kind. They're just like cutter bee. I think I got them at Temu, and I cut that piece of thread already off here. I do like this piece of cord too, though. So do I want to use it as my wraparound piece? Or do I want to use that one and this? I really think that's what I'm convinced that I want. All right, opinions. I think I'm going to use this piece of cord. Now I got to figure out how I want to attach my button to the front here. Do I want to use this piece of cord with one of these gold pieces to attach it to the back of my journal and then bring it up and put it around the button? But that's silver and this is gold, so if I'm going to do that, I need a different button. That's silver, but isn't that just the coolest Indian head thingy you've ever seen? Button like that? Okay, I'm still fishing in my little gadgets here. I also have, that pink isn't going to go, but maybe some blue might work. That doesn't really get it, does it? I'm still going back to my button. Okay. I think that's what I'm going to do. And if I need to, I will do something to my piece here to make it look grungy-er. All right, so I don't usually use a glue gun to put down cardstock, but I think I'm going to this time because I want it to be good and stable, but I also need to sew my button on here first, like that. Well, I'm getting close to an hour on my video, so I think I'm going to make this closure a little simpler just because I'm running out of time. So we're going to make this nice and simple. We're going to try to untie the bow on this ribbon, and if I can untie it and get this little bit of glue where it was glued on something else off of here, then it will be perfect to use as a closure on this one because it'll match the copy paper I'm using on the front. I think it'll work. The other option is my string. The other option is simply using this as a decorative piece on here. I don't know, maybe something up here. All right, I have a thought. Yes, I do have a thought. And yes, I think it'll work. Let's see, I should have brought along my fabric scissors because these don't do very well for this kind of stuff. That's all right. I don't mind the grunge look, the raveled look. I kind of like it. So I'm going to cut this bit off here. Okay. Again, it's going to look a little raveled, but I kind of like it. So, I think I'm just going to glue it on down, y'all. Before I do that, though, I think I'm going to take this and just put it up through the holes in the button. Just to kind of make it look pretty cool looking. Here's my needle. Will it go through the holes? Yes. Now if we can get it threaded. I did have a needle threader close by, but you know how that goes. They're never where you want them when you need them, right? Okay. Trying to get my needle threaded here. Oh, great. Needle threader, where are you when I need you? Let me see if I can find it here, folks, because I thought for sure I had one nearby, and now I'm not finding any. Guess what? I have one. I have one. Yay, yay, yay. So we'll put this through the needle. Okay. So we put that through the hole, I believe. That's how this goes. Come on, Miriam. What's the problem? Just put it through the hole after you put it through the needle. That bigger one, no, it doesn't fit. Didn't think it would. Alright, so now I got it through there, and theoretically you should be able to pull it and pull it right through your needle. However, it is a thicker thread and doesn't want to pull through the needle very well. Probably if you had more strength. There we go, got it. Whew! But man, that was just not ever going to go through there. So now I'm just going to take this. I am going to sew it to my paper. I'm going to go down from the outside. They'll just give it a little bit more security, so I'm going to go down through and poke my paper with my needle. That's fine. Go down through this way. Pull it through the paper, and again, it's a thicker thread, so it might take a minute to get it through your paper. There we go. And then I'm going to come back up through the paper, and another hole here. And I'm just going to come back up through that one. Okay, there we go. And pull it good so that I have a stitch on the back of my paper. All right. Cut this because I don't need such a long piece, but I'm going to leave it a little long. All right. So then I'm going to go down through the third hole. I'm trying to make it look like an X on here. So, but I want to tie that one to the other piece when I bring it back up through the other hole. So we just gotta go down through the paper one more time and back up through, and then it's on there and we can glue it. Probably need a bigger needle with this kind of thread, but that's all right, it's working. So, all right, pulling that as tight as we can. I don't want that doubled up there. Get you, which one is the loose end? There we go. And I'm gonna poke it back up through here. And we'll get this glued down. This video is going to be a little longer than most of mine because I don't usually do these kinds of things on video. However, today I just thought that I need to finish these up and I'd bring you along for the process. So here we are. Okay, so now we have this, and I'm going to take my needle off and I'm going to tie my two ends together. I've got a diagonal sewing on there, and I'm going to tie these two ends. And glue my two pieces on top here, and then it'll be glued down to my journal. Okay, pulling that string nice and tight. I'm going to give myself a couple little things on the front here because I think that looks kind of cool. There we go. So now we have that. It goes there. And I'm going to figure out where it goes, and then I'm going to attach my gold ribbon bit thing. Let's see. Where's my... Here's what we're going to do, because I don't want this to come back up. We're going to at least glue around these threads down first, and then I can come back and add more glue when I finish up this one. So that at least you can see what it looks like when it's done. Or give it a few minutes here. Usually it's solid when it quits heating. Come on, might need more charge. Let's see if we can get enough out of here to finish this bit. Come on. It's heating up. There it comes, tiny little glue out. It's still blinking, so let's see if that'll be enough to just hold it in place for now, till I get the rest of my glue on there. Okay, yeah, that's going to hold that. Then I'll heat that up off camera and finish that up, but I want to show you all what I have here. Okay, got that much. And then we want to put this little clamp on here. So it's going to go, I think, about right there. Yep. It's going to go right here. And again, I don't have my pliers, so let's just run it. It's going to attach here, and I'm going to take a piece of my brown twine, and I'm going to unravel it. I think I can unravel it. Maybe not. I don't know, I can't. It's all raveled in together, so it's going to stay together. However, it will be attached to the back, and then you can bring it around the front. I don't think this piece is going to work. We'll have to use this piece. You can attach it to the back, and then you will bring it around the front like this, and you've got your closure. And this will go to the back of the book. So I'm going to finish this offline. I will bring it back in my next video and show you what I've got, and perhaps we'll work on a couple of my small journals that I started and haven't finished up yet. But there's 3 different closures. We've done a ribbon closure, we've done a button closure, and we've done a Velcro closure in this video. So I hope you all like what you have seen, and you come back and check out my next video so you can see the final on this one that I'm currently working on. And I will see you all in my next video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye bye, everybody.